The worst thing about Blackwood wasn't the smell of Jim's socks or the cafeteria chili. It was the yearbooks. I'm talking about the archives, the dusty volumes stacked floor to ceiling in the back room of the library, dating back 70 years. My name is Maya, and I got stuck on the yearbook committee because I'm an editor, which means I got to spend my entire fall semester digitizing the old records. The first few weeks were boring, bad fashion, awful hairstyles, and cheerful, meaningless inscriptions. Then I found the first anomaly. It was the 1987 edition. I was scanning a page dedicated to the Future Journalist Club where a dozen smiling, awkward kids posed around a bulky desktop computer. I zoomed in on the photo of a girl named Sarah Jenkins. She had big glasses and an even bigger smile. I opened the 1988 yearbook, turned to the club photo, and there she was again, Sarah Jenkins. Same glasses, same awkward smile, same pose. But that wasn't the weird part. She was standing next to a boy who was clearly a senior in 88. If she was a junior in 87, she should have graduated in 88, right? I checked the class of 88 graduation roster. No Sarah Jenkins. I checked the class of 89. No Sarah Jenkins. I kept going. 1990, she was in the drama club photo. 1992, she was on the debate team. Every year, she aged slightly. Her hair got a little shorter. Her clothes got a little more current, but she was always there, smiling in a different club photo, forever a student at Blackwood High. It wasn't just Sarah. By the time I reached the 2000s, I found an entire group of these eternal students. There was Marcus, the pale, lanky boy who was always in the marching band photo but never graduated. There was Chloe, who was perpetually the second string goalie on the field hockey team. They weren't ghosts, exactly. They were just fixed. They appeared in the photos, sometimes right in the front row, clear as day, yet their names were never on any graduation list, class roll, or alumni directory. I tried to tell Mr. Harrison, the faculty advisor. He just laughed. Relax, Maya. Blackwood's been around forever. People transfer, they drop out. Old yearbooks are full of printing errors. But they weren't printing errors. They were too consistent. They never spoke in the quote sections. They never received an award. They only ever appeared in the group photos. The night I realized the true horror was when I got to the 2023 yearbook, the one from last year that I was working late in the library. The massive wooden shelves felt like they were leaning in on me. I opened the 2023 edition and turned to the Digital Media Club page, where I was standing with a dozen other kids, smiling around a camera. And there, right behind me, half obscured by my own shoulder, was Marcus from the marching band. His smile wasn't the awkward, nervous grin he had in the 90s. It was wider, and his eyes, which had always been half closed and tired, were now focused, dark, and staring directly at me. I slammed the book shut and backed away, stumbling over a stack of old magazines. I couldn't have imagined it. I went back, trembling, and reopened the page. Marcus was there, but beside him, the corner of a second face was visible, half hidden by a girl named Jennifer. A face with big glasses and a familiar, overly cheerful expression. Sarah Jenkins. I knew then that the eternal students weren't just stuck in the yearbooks. They were gaining ground. They were slowly moving from the background of the photos to the front, weaving themselves into the fabric of the current student body, one club meeting at a time. They weren't transferring out, dropping out, or failing. They were waiting. They were inserting themselves into the official record so perfectly that soon no one would ever remember a time they weren't there. My hands flew to the current year's file, the yearbook we were about to send to the printers, the 2024 edition. I found a group photo for the yearbook committee. I zoomed in on the picture. I was right in the middle, smiling dutifully. And right next to me, just on the edge of the frame, was a new face. A girl with lanky, dark hair and an earnest, slightly vacant smile. I had never seen her before. I checked the roll for the yearbook committee. Her name wasn't there. I pulled out the old 1965 yearbook, flipped through the pages until I found the Future Homemakers of America Club. And there she was, smiling shyly in the back row. A girl named Eliza, who had apparently been mastering the art of the perfect smile for nearly 60 years. I looked at the digital file for the 2024 yearbook again. I had only one chance. I cropped the image tightly, slicing Eliza and the empty space next to her completely out of the frame. I hit save and then print. It was a small victory, but I knew it wouldn't last. Because when I finally looked up from a computer screen, the library was dark. The clock read 1:15 a.m., and standing silently outside the glass window of the locked library door, gazing in, was a pale, lanky boy, his face pressed against the glass. He had thick, black-rimmed glasses and a very wide, unnaturally knowing smile. Markus. He wasn't smiling at the glass. He was smiling at the giant stack of fresh, glossy, soon-to-be distributed 2024 Blackwood High yearbooks sitting on the cart right next to me. He slowly raised a hand and pressed his palm flat against the cold pane, as if to say, "See you next year."